This is a really interesting guitar. Its the condition is just beautiful. It's a made in Japan. I think it's 2017. It might be made in the early 80s or the 70s. Kind of hard to tell. Uh, one of the things I love about this guitar is the patina and the way the top is aged is very even looking. You might find some places where it might need to be cleaned a little bit, or you might find some, those subtle scratches on the top. Obviously scratches on the pick guard. I mean, I hate to be this picky about this guitar because the condition's just beautiful, but some people are really anal about that. But it looks great. But I haven't seen any dings. There could be a ding on it. But the sound of this guitar is really incredible. It kind of has. It's got that great, that great sound. Those of you out there that have made in Japan Alvarez's, if you have a good one, the sound just jumps out of the sound hole. My wife was playing this guitar the other day. She's a great player and songwriter, and she was playing this for me, so I could hear it. And I was just like, whoa, It's just it's got that kind of sweet, kind of sweet old Martin D18 tone with that kind of great Alvarez Yari jumps out of the sound hole tone. But it's a little, and it has a little bit of Yamaha FG 180 in it, but sweeter sounding. It's just a lot of guitar. Yes, I'm in Dadgad. Just using a Zoom Q3 with cheap little mics. I mean, I paid $100 for this Zoom Q3. I'm not using anything else. I've got it strung with 11s right now. It's very playable and nice. It just sounds sweet. It's got those overtones. This is a hard guitar for me to let go of because it just sounds incredible. It's got that transparent, woody, wooden bell type tone with those really nice overtones, that kind of sparkly overtones, And like I said, the condition's just beautiful. And it's made in Japan, and it just, like I said, the binding has a nice yellow look. And a lot of people don't understand about the made in Japan guitars. The Japanese know a lot of secrets about making guitars. Ever played a great FG 180, And I've talked to some people that were actually violin makers that bought a lot of wood from all over the world. They said some of the wood the Japanese had, they actually stored in the ocean, deep in the ocean, and I can't verify that, or I can't give you a place to look that up. That's coming from people that used to make violins and things like that. But there's, the Japanese are light years ahead of everybody else in understanding some of the techniques of making great sounding instruments that they've never really shared with anybody else because they don't want to, And those instruments can come out of, older Yamahas, older Alvarez, some of the Ibanez ones, But you can hear it. But it's got that sweetness to it, that woody overtone resonance, like a wooden bell type thing. these are new strings, so they're probably stretching a little bit. These are 11s on here. This is a guitar that just is going to call to somebody. Hear that? The sound just jumps out of the... This guitar reminds me a lot of a Martin 50s D18 I used to have that I sold for a lot of money. But I swear the tone on this is more bloomy, has more sparkly mid-range treble and more sparkly, better defined, clear yet still transparent mid-bass and bass. I think the term I always come back to is kind of a piano quality. The tone on this reminds me of a piano in terms of being orchestral and really well balanced and really resonant. Hear that sustain? That's incredible. This is really a lot of guitar. Like I've said a million times, the great guitars are few and far between, folks. Wake up here. Somebody's going to hear this guitar and just have to have it. That's how I feel. It's really hard to let go of, but condition too. It's such a beautiful guitar. Boy. Just absolutely gorgeous. Really a beautiful guitar. This sounds as good as any Yari or Alvarez I've ever owned, and I've owned and sold and collected lots of them, you know. This has really got a sound, you know. Really has a sound. I've been kind of waiting to put this on YouTube because I think the back of my mind I was thinking, man, I should just keep this one, but you know, I can't keep every great guitar I get. By the way, I deal in a very, very small, limited amount of guitars these days. I just don't have the time to chase them, and I'm really picky. If I'm going to buy a guitar to resell, it's got to have the mojo, it's got to have the magic, and a lot of them don't. So when I find a guitar that does, you know, you know, it's rare, and like I said, I don't have a lot of time to chase them. But the guitars that I've been buying and selling and collecting for over 40 years. I really know tone. I really know guitars. I know the ones that have the magic. And a lot of that experience just came from selling hundreds of thousands of dollars of guitars. It's not something you can just look up, and you can't just do research and figure out what a great guitar value is, because all the guitars are different, even the same brand, even the same name, even the same model. Some of them really ring out, some of them suck, you know. And most acoustic guitars are really, really weak in the mid bass, and the bass is kind of really undefined, and they don't have that sparkle in the mid range. It's really hard to find a great guitar, folks. They just, you know. All right, if you want a great acoustic guitar and you don't want to spend, you know, $2-3 grand, and you want to be under 1,000, this one hard to beat. It's one of the best sounding Alvarez's I've ever had, and it just looks beautiful too. All right, folks, take care. Really prefer wire transfer on this, or you can send me a check or a postal money order or something like priority mail, so it gets to me in 2 or 3 days. I've got 100% positive feedback on eBay. I think I've got almost 80 positive reviews on Reverb. You can look me up if you need credibility. Just go to Vintage Guitar Magazine, which is vintageguitar.com. Put in Steve Zook, read the review of my CD. The guy that wrote the review even says he's bought guitars from me. I'm a good guy to buy from because I'm 68. I know what the hell I'm doing. I know the guitars that have a lot of magic, and if I have something I'm selling, it's very special and very, very hard to find. All right, folks, take care, and yeah, this guitar is just really hard to put down because it just sounds so incredible. I love this guitar. All right, folks, 714-548-0385. My phone's kind of a piece of junk. It goes to voicemail a lot, so you may have to leave a message. So you text me or call me, 714-548-0385, or email stevezook7@yahoo.com. That's STEVEZOOK, the number 7, not spelled out, at yahoo.com. Yeah, this is a very special guitar. Like I said, it has some Yamaha FG180 in it, married to kind of some old Martin D18, married to some kind of, you know, Alvarez Yari tone. The tone just jumps out. The tone sparkles. It blooms. That's the problem with a lot of guitar tone, is it's kind of almost static, almost like flatline. Like the tone comes out, but it just kind of sits there. A great instrument, the tone comes out and it kind of breathes. It kind of sparkles. You know, that's what this does. Hell of a box, and the condition's just absolutely gorgeous, you know. As you can see, it's a really beautiful guitar, and it plays great. It's got a nice setup. It's got enough action on it to where you get a ton of tone. It's got saddle left, so if you want to come down a little bit, which I kind of don't think you'd need to, but you could. But it plays really nice right now. It's got a nice setup, but setup is very subjective, so there's plenty of saddle left. If you wanted to come down a little bit more, you can. I don't, you know, it just depends. You know, again, setup is subjective. I think me and my wife both think the setup's beautiful on this. And you don't want to get too low on an acoustic because then you lose tone. So, but yeah, the nice news is there is saddle left if you want to go lower, but I think it's set up really nice right now. All right, folks, take care. And if you're interested, this guitar is probably going to go pretty quick. See ya.